Hey folks, Jonathan here. I figured I would get back on the little hardware store here again today. You can see all my totes. That's all totes that's still going to need sorted. I just wanted to get them in out of the rain. But our biggest issue right now is this. Oh, there it adjusted. Our roof is still messed up. Now, for anybody that don't know, this was a box truck like the van style. It was a 1-ton Chevrolet, and I actually bought it for the engine. I needed the engine for my pickup truck. And this had caught some irrigation pipe, and it actually slid all the way down it, and then when it got back here to the back, it caught this back rail and bent it back. So because this was mounted to the body, it wasn't a separate box from the body, they were bolted together, they totaled the the whole vehicle out. So I was able to buy the whole vehicle. Now, an engine for my truck was 6.0 used somewhere $1,500–1,700, $2,000, somewhere around there. I bought this whole box truck for $1,500. Ran great. Half the mileage is what my truck had on it, and well, less than half. And was no issues except for this box. So I sold a lot of parts off that truck, enough to easily make my money back. Used the engine in my pickup truck. I've still got the transmission to use if I ever need it. The box, I decided I wanted to do this with it, so we're going to try to fix it. But instead of just fix this part, I'm going to put a roof on this thing. And before, I'm going to go ahead and build the roof on the ground, and I'm going to set it on with the forklift. But before I set it on, I'm going to be cutting this and bringing it back and bolting a piece together just to use this as support, because it's this is pretty structural, because this stuff is not structural whatsoever, even these beams going across. And as you can see, just like with this one, there's not even any rivets in it. So it's just there, is it. And we're going to go ahead and cut all this out later. But first we're going to get the roof done. Got a little bit of floor work to do. I believe what I'm going to be doing is laying plywood over top of this, and then I've actually got hardwood floor I'm going to put in it. So, but for starters, we're going to get the roof on. I'm going to get a width. We're going to actually, like I said, build this on the ground, and then I'll take the forklift and set it on. And it's going to be a pretty tall pitch. This is we're going to do a tin roof, and I'll just instead of telling you all about it, I'll just show you as I go. Okay, we've got our erector set out, I guess you could call it. These are the pieces from the towers that I'd taken apart and used for scaffolding for the building when we built it. So now we're going to build a frame, and the inside is 8 foot wide, which is what the box is, and this is going to sit on top and cap over it. And then we can lag it down. We can lag it down from the side when we're done, but we're still going to build the roof on it first. And it's going to consist of 2x6s and 10. And the 2x6s I've got is rough cut. They're dry, they come off. There's a barn I tore down. There's a video on here somewhere of it, old tobacco barn. But so we're going to use as much of the wood from it as I can. And I think I'll have plenty, so I don't think I'll need to buy anything. And of course I've got plenty of bolts and lag screws and carriage bolts, so we'll get this all put together and bolted together, and then we will try very hard to set it up there without damaging anything. Alright. Okay folks, we've got our frame together. I got to measure to make sure it's square. Should fit right over top of the that flat roof on the building. And just for anybody that don't know, because I just found out myself, because I'd never tried it before, but the plasma cutter cuts that galvanized just like it cuts steel. I figured to get a lot of smoke and blowback and stuff like that, but unlike you do with a torch, you don't get that with the plasma cutter. So we'll keep at it. Square it up. I may tack it in a few places. I'm actually going to add some little angles on it to bolt the rafters into. I had to add this one at 6 foot. Well, it's back from 6 foot, but because I've got 6 foot forks on the forklift. So my problem's going to be, I'm going to go under that one, under this one. I'll chain the forks to that one. But what we're going to run into is that's 6 foot, and I've got 8 foot overhang here. it's going to have a lot of weight on it. But I think with the 8-foot span, you know, I think we'll be okay. Hopefully it won't bend our angle or anything like that. So I'll get my forks out as wide as I can get them, and I think we can do it. I could take a shorter piece, put the forks through, put the shorter piece under this, or under my forks, and run some bolts through it and tighten it down and clamp it, and that would help keep a bow out of this one. And so I may do that before it's over with. I've got the pieces, you know, already cut that I cut out. So these have got so many holes in them, you know, it makes it really nice to line up. Now I had to put holes in it to get my width that I needed for the building, but not a big issue. All right, so square up and start getting some wood on it. All right. Okay, here's the lumber that from the building that I tore down, the tobacco barn. And I know the ends look rough, but there's some really nice wood here. The boards are anywhere from 11, there's a couple of 11s, most of them are 12 and 13 inches wide, and rough cut. So really nice boards, old, they're probably cut back in the 20s, I'd say. And then I've got where I messed up. Of course, I came down here to move a vehicle out from behind this trailer with the forklift. Forklift ran out of gas. I put gas in the forklift. I ran the battery dead trying to start it. I had to charge it up. Then I get down here and move the car. And of course, the wood I need was on bottom, so I had to move all this. And now I've got to move this stack, which is 5 foot high, to get to the rest of my 2x6s and stuff I need on the bottom to build the rafters. I brought the walls in after, so just wasn't thinking about it. So we're going to go ahead and get this wood loaded up and get up there and get to work. Alright folks, I've even got the fan running outside here, but we're getting ready to, we got all the boards up here and we're getting ready to do our rafters. And it's been really hot, and I've been on and off this all day, about 15 minutes each time I get on it, but we're about to get it. But anyway, I went to my local hardware store, and which is right there, and picked up some carriage bolts. We're going to use 1/2-inch carriage bolts on this, nice and heavy, and see if we can start getting some rafters bolted on. I may not know what I'm doing, but when I'm done, it'll look all right. Okay, we've got one rafter up here, and what I was saying is these are 45-degree cuts. And I've come down, and I know I don't have much of an overhang, but I don't want any because of the tree situation. We're going to move the building back later some anyway, but I still really don't need any. Put these plates on it. These are some that my son gave me a bunch of these. Where he worked at was going to throw them away, so they're really nice plates. And so I was going to run a ridge beam, and then I realized, and after doing a little bit of research, that once you get to a certain pitch, you don't have to run a ridge beam. And I don't know what pitch this is. I'm sure somebody could tell me, but it's a steep pitch. But once you get over a certain pitch, you don't have to have a ridge beam. And I'm assuming that this is plenty over that. So we're going to have it bolted in on the bottom on each side. And then once we get out here and it's open, I'm probably going to run some pieces across. And I'll probably use something a little different for that. But we're just using what we've got. Everything scrap or older, and bolts out of our little hardware store here, so we're just trying not to spend any money. All right folks, I'm working hard, but it's starting to get dark on me. Just want to show you something. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's the grain in that is so much closer than in this new lumber. I mean, there's a lot of rings there. So like I said, that stuff was probably sawed in 1920, somewhere around there, so pretty good lumber. Okay folks, one more, and we can start putting the strips on and putting the tent on. Now, I'm having little issues in my own head here about the, I might have enough of that roll insulation to insulate after I put the strips on before I put the tent on. But I like the looks of the tent up in the top. But, you know, you can't have both. But I was thinking about going to a local place that's called REA. And believe it or not, it's people helping people help people. In other words, It's companies that donate stuff to them, and then they charge a certain amount of fee to put it out and sell it. But they're supposed to sell the stuff cheap. They used to, but everything's gotten kind of expensive there nowadays. But anyway, they've got a lot of material. And if I could find burlap looking style, I'm sure y'all have seen that, but if I could find that and roll that out first over top of my slats, or I forget what you call them, but anyway, on top of them, and then put that insulation on and then put the tent on, it would look so good. But I don't think I'm going to be able to find any, but we're going to decide. We're going to decide something here. I got to make sure I got enough insulation to roll out on it first anyway. So all right, okay, we got all of them done. Now I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to get the forklift and slide up under it, because I would like to do an overhang, but I don't know, I don't want it getting in the way of putting it up there. So I want to get as much done on the ground as I can instead of doing it up on the roof. But I'm debating, so we're going to pull the forklift up in there about like it's going to be when we pick it up, and then we're going to see what we can do overhang wise and stuff toward the front and toward the back. So okay, we got it picked up with the forklift, and you can probably see up there I ended up just bolting one of the pieces I cut off to the bottom side. I've got this at the end of the fork, so I've got a chain holding it on. So we got it up in the air now, and looks like it's going to do really good. It's bouncy, but it's not, you know, I don't think, this thing's 5,000 pound capacity, so I don't see it as being an issue. I can still add weight. I think I'm gonna, just can't do my two top extensions here strips, but I'm gonna try to do as much as I can do before I, you know, just up and set it on there. Forklift can handle the weight, so if I get the tan on and all the strips on, or you know, I'll do the strips and do them up to here, and then cut them off there, and I can extend them out. I mean, I don't like doing that, but you know, we really want to get as much done as we can on the ground. First, it's safer, but second, you know, it's just so much easier. So anyway, we'll I've got a tow to go do, so when I get back, I'll go to nailing on some strips, or not nailing them on, but screwing on some strips, and go ahead and start probably putting tin on it. And I do plan, like I said, to do something between here and here, but you know, on the rafters themselves, but I haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet. I don't quite have enough of them plates like these right here to do every one of them. It'd take 40 plates total, because I'm using 4 for each one, and I just don't quite have enough plates for that. So I've got to decide if I'm gonna, I've got some round, almost like trees, you know, that they use to hang the tobacco off of. And I've got Jordan's electric chainsaw, which seems to work pretty good for doing little stuff like that. But I'm thinking about carving it in and bolting it with lag bolts through. So if I do that, I'll show you what it looks like. And, you know, we may go with that, and it should look, you know, look kind of neat. But anyway, we've got it up in the air a little bit, and I'll probably block it and set it back down. I just wanted to make sure that it was going to handle it, and I think that's going to work out really well, bolting that on. Now when I set it on, I'll have the back end of it down on the building, and then this end of it I can have up, you know, just have the forks tilted, and then I can unbolt that, you know, get out from under it. So I think it's going to work out really well. All right, I'll show you more as I go. Okay folks, I finally got one side of the fern strips on, and got it, you know, leveled out there where when I put the tent on, there won't be any cracks in here where the bugs won't get in. This side's pretty much done. Getting ready to do the other side. And let me see, I want to show you. I moved this thing out away from the forklift about 6 inches. Well, actually about 12 inches here. But I can't move it much farther back in. But I wanted to go ahead and do the overhang. I want to go ahead and do the tin, get this finished. So we're taking a heck of a chance on whether I'm either going to be able to move this thing or not, or pick it up and put it where I need it. But worst comes to worst, we'll set the wrecker up set some snatch blocks up in the tree, or a chain across and a snatch block, and we'll move that building back some, and then we'll winch this thing up in the air, and then I'll just have to slide it in. Once I get this end started on the building, it should slide right on the building, the way that I got these angle iron. And so anyway, whatever we got to do, we're going to do that probably tomorrow. Hopefully I can get this stuff finished tonight. I know I won't have all the tin finished, but I shouldn't take too long if I get up really early in the morning and see if I can knock it out. What I talked about before, about I did not want the white insulation showing through down too. And I know people probably think I'm crazy, but I know it's going to be brighter and all that good stuff, but I just don't like the look of it. I'm trying to make this look a particular way that I want inside. So I went and got this, and no, it's not burlap. It looks like burlap, but it's a Doff collar. It's sort of a purplish looking collar, because that's all they had. And you know, where I buy this at, it's $1 a yard, so there's 15 yards there. So there'll be enough to do the whole thing. I'm going to do it first, stretch it out, staple it down, and then I'm going to do the insulation, and then we're going to do the tin. And you know, it may look like crap, may look good, we'll see. We'll all know it when I get the building up and see how it looks like, or you know, looks on the inside anyway. But just like I said, you know, the inside roof's coming out of the building, so I think we're good to go. I think I've covered everything here, and we'll get on this other side. It's going to be dark here shortly, but if I can get some light out here, I may just keep right on going. But we're going to get our fern strips on and get everything wrapped up on the other side, so we can the insulation and the tin. Okay folks, I rolled pretty hard on it. Got the fir strips on this side, burning strips, got the pieces on the front and the back, so we're actually ready to do the insulation and stuff, and then put the tin on. But I'm going to try to pick it up, just see what it looks like. Don't know, it's I know it's getting heavy. See what happens here. Doesn't look like a problem at all. Yeah, we're up in the air. It's a bouncy, but it's going to be bouncy, but I'm going to go stand on it here. I'll put some weight on it anyway. Just see what it does. Yeah. It's bouncing, but it's good. So we're still going to be fine as of now, so I don't think the tin's going to hurt it that much. So anyway, I'm going to probably leave it at this. I wish I could have got more done. Should be able to be setting this on tomorrow, so I'll try to get a video on maybe tomorrow night of that. You know, it could be it could go right on, and then it could be a disaster here, but just tune in and you'll see. But I appreciate everybody watching, and till next time, bye.